realize what I wanted to do? It's almost too hard to answer that question. Well, I don't know about you, but for me, it was definitely my senior year of high school. I was taking this anatomy and physiology class, and it was then I just knew, you know?
Definitely. I think that was when I had my light bulb moment, like I just knew what I wanted to do.
And there was this book that we lived by religiously.
Mountains Beyond Mountains! For me, I think it was when I read something like, never underestimate the ability of a small group of committed individuals to change the world. Indeed, they are the ones who have done so.
Page 164.
No, seriously. That really resonated with me. One small group of people making everything just work. That's why I do what I do.
We play a vital, although small, role in this world. You know, like, we are committed to doing what we do. I literally explore other worlds, and that takes just a bit of dedication. But you know, that would never be possible without people like her who are here to heal it.
Aww.
Mountains Beyond Mountains. Now that's a good one. I think my favorite quote from the book was, "Many people think all the world's problems can be fixed without any cost to themselves. We don't believe that. There's a lot to be said for sacrifice, remorse, even pity. That's what separates us from roaches." I'm a mother. And the only thing I need for my daughter to be is a person that understands the meaning of hard work, the meaning of earning what you get. That's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned from them. Every goal he set, every idea that he had to earn it himself. Being a photographer, it also allowed me to visualize the necessity of getting the message across through art. The message of poverty in third world countries, the message of famine, the message of political turmoil, like, those things need to be seen. And the thought of me being able to reflect that, I just knew it was the job for me.
I have fought the long defeat, and I have brought others along to fight the long defeat. And I'm not going to stop because we keep losing. You have to ask yourself at any given time, do I want?
And of course, you'll always answer yes.
It's natural, it's primal, it's needed to survive in life. When I chose to be a lawyer, it's not just because I wanted to win. I'll admit it was a factor, but that's not why I do what I do. I chose to help those that can't help themselves and win on their own. It's not about who helps you succeed. It's about making sure you succeed in the end.
Attempts at imitation would put the emphasis where it didn't belong. The goal is to improve the lives of others, not oneself.
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm exactly like a dog. When it saves lives, it's all I think, it's all I breathe, it's all I need. The key to being a hero, to being a person, is having hope. Believing you have a purpose, believing you can choose whoever you want to be. I am the symbol of hope, not just for others, but for myself. Being a superhero doesn't require a cape, it just makes you that much more awesome.
Being a medical examiner has its challenges. I'm constantly pushing myself to think harder, study harder, and I'm basically trying to create the best version of myself. When I first read Mountains Beyond Mountains, I was met with this feeling, almost like a call to action, you know? It's like I just knew the medical field was for me. For me, bodies have always been easier to understand. Don't worry, it's not in a serial killer kind of way, it's just always been easier. I found that life tends to pull you where you need to be rather than where you want to be. So when it came to accepting that this is going to be my life, it was unexpected. In fact, it was probably one of the most sensible situations I'd ever created for myself.
It's a piece of chicken. Oh no, it's a leaf.
That's a leaf! Oh my god.
Bro, you lost your flag.
I'm actually digging.
the moment when I think everything clicked for me and I was like, this is, sounding really good. Like, I think this is what I want to do, I would say was probably when I read Mountains by Mountains. And it was a section where Ophelia, Ophelia said something like, waving to your brown brothers. And, much like Dr. Farmer, when he heard that, he didn't find it amusing, right? Because the whole part of it was she found it funny that he, was waving, and, that's not normally how you wave. And it wasn't offensive, in a way, but it was not progressive. That's when I was like, because if we want to truly live in the world that we live in, and appreciate life the way that it needs to be appreciated, the way that it should be appreciated, that means that we have to learn how to coexist. I have come up with the term, and I like to call it dislocation, right? Because a lot of times we find ourselves dislocating ourselves from these situations, from these environments, right? We always believe, well, that's not me. And even if it's implicit, even if we don't plan on doing it, that's what we do. It's natural. It's a human instinct to just go, well, that's not me. Because it's so easy to just want to pull yourself away from anything that will lead to confrontation, or away from your comfortability at the time. But if we plan on progressing as a human race, as a species, then we need to understand, how do we coexist? How do we live not only with just human beings, but beings in general on this planet? How are we making our lives how are we making ourselves not a burden? And that is the biggest thing for me. I think that was really just when I was like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live. So when I became, an anthropologist, it just made sense to me. I love people. I love the idea of being in a world filled with so many people. How is it that we are able to have different religions, have different lives, have different skin color, have everything be so different, and yet we are all the same? We are one species. We come in different colors, different shades, just like any other being. But we have these similarities that will always connect us. And no matter how hard people try to separate us, no matter how hard people say, oh, well, you do this, or you're less than me, you're this, you're that, it all comes down to the fact that we are all the same in one way or another. We celebrate our differences, we love our differences, but we all are the same in a few key things. And being a professor, right, I get to go and teach everything that I learn. And when I teach, I still learn. And when I teach someone, they teach me. And it just becomes this revolutionary process of, how do we make life better for everyone, for anything? And that is the key thing that I've taken from this book. It's the key thing that I use throughout my life. Is it's not funny at miseducation. It's simply miseducation. So educate. It's that simple. Educate. Because at the end of the day, that is all that we can hope for. The ability to have everyone be on the same page. Because having someone left behind doesn't mean you're better, or doesn't mean that, you have this advantage. We're all disadvantaged when someone else isn't getting what we have, because that means that we are lacking progression. We all have to live on this earth. We all have to make sure that we survive. So why not make sure that everyone is doing it at the same length? That's the definition of efficiency. Everything's working together. Everyone's doing what they need to do to make something work. And until that happens, I'll keep doing what I do. I will gladly take a pay cut. I will gladly resign from my job the second that human life is seen as equal in every aspect.
I wanted to do. It's almost too hard to answer that question.
That laugh.
Well, I don't know about you, but it was in my.
Oh my god.
And there was this book that we lived by religiously.
Mountains beyond mountains?
Yeah.
I thought we were both supposed to say it. Yeah.
And the only thing I
Oh wait, I'm taking a video.
Hero, to be a person, is to be hope.
Being a medical examiner. Found that life tends to put you where you.
Why I do what I do is very simple. The people. Those are the real words. Oh my god.